Karen's voice could curdle milk. "You're fishing in my lake. You little punk," she bellowed, her floral muumuu flapping like a warning flag as she stormed toward Jake, a 24-year-old mechanic who just wanted a quiet afternoon by the water. The lake, nestled in the heart of Willow Creek, was the only place in this HOA-controlled suburb where Jake could escape the grind. But Karen, the self-appointed queen of the homeowners association, had other plans. Jake had been casting his line for barely 10 minutes when Karen's golf cart screeched to a halt. Her face, redder than the sunset, twisted into a sneer as she waved a crumpled HOA rulebook. "Fishing's prohibited. That's a $500 fine, payable by Friday, or I'll have your truck towed." She spat, her chins wobbling with righteous fury. Jake stared, dumbfounded. The lake wasn't even on HOA property, it was public land. Or so he thought. He tried to argue, but Karen's tirade drowned him out, her voice echoing across the water like a foghorn. "You think you're above the rules. I'll make sure you regret stepping foot here." The confrontation wasn't just about fishing. It was about power. Karen had ruled Willow Creek's HOA for years, her reign a petty dictatorship of fines, complaints, and endless meetings about mailbox colors. She thrived on control, her ego bloated by the fear she instilled in neighbors. Jake, though, wasn't one to bow. He'd grown up in a rougher part of town, scraping by with his mom after his dad left. He'd faced worse than Karen's tantrums, a fact that only fueled her disdain for him. To her, Jake was a nobody, a greasy mechanic who didn't belong in her pristine suburb. The $500 fine hit hard. Jake's savings were already thin, stretched between rent and fixing his mom's old car. Paying Karen meant skipping bills, maybe even losing his apartment. But as he stood there, rod in hand, her words stinging like a slap, something snapped. He wasn't going to let this slide. Not today. Not ever. Jake spent the next week digging. He stayed up late, scouring county records and property laws, fueled by coffee and spite. The lake, he discovered, was indeed public, but it was part of a larger plot up for sale, a forgotten parcel the county wanted to offload for cheap. The price, $12,000. A fortune for Jake. But an idea sparked. He'd been saving for a new transmission for his truck. But this was bigger. This was war. He called his buddy Marcus, a real estate agent with a knack for sniffing out deals. "You're insane," Marcus said, laughing, when Jake explained his plan. "Buy a lake to spite Karen. That's next level." But Marcus saw the fire in Jake's eyes and agreed to help. They scraped together every cent Jake had, took out a small loan, and made an offer. The county, desperate to unload the land, accepted. By the end of the month, Jake owned the lake lock, stock, and lily pads. Karen didn't know what hit her. Jake didn't just stop at owning the lake. He had a sign made. Bold letters on weathered wood, "Private property. HOA members not allowed." He planted it right by the water's edge, where Karen's golf cart always parked. The first time she saw it, her scream could have shattered glass. She marched to Jake's apartment, banging on the door, demanding he take it down. "You can't do this," she shrieked. "I'll sue you into the ground." Jake leaned against the doorframe, calm as the lake itself. "It's my property now, Karen. You don't get to make the rules anymore." He handed her a copy of the deed, watching her face turn purple. For once, she was speechless. But Jake wasn't done. He'd spent every spare hour turning the lake into a community haven, not for the HOA, but for everyone else. He invited local kids to fish, set up picnic tables, even organized a cleanup day to clear the weeds. The lake became a middle finger to Karen's tyranny, a place where neighbors could breathe free. Word spread fast. People who'd cowered under Karen's rule started showing up. Old Man Jenkins, who'd been fined for his unapproved garden gnomes, brought his grandkids to fish. Maria, a single mom who'd been slapped with a $200 fine for her son's skateboard ramp, hosted a barbecue by the water. The lake became a symbol of rebellion, a quiet screw you to the HOA's stranglehold. Karen tried to fight back petitions, complaints to the county, even a failed attempt to get the land rezoned. But Jake's paperwork was ironclad. She was powerless. The real blow came at the next HOA meeting. Karen, used to dominating the room, stood up to rant about Jake's illegal lake. But the crowd wasn't hers anymore. People whispered, laughed, even clapped when Jake walked in, holding a fishing rod like a scepter. He didn't say much, just presented a petition, signed by half the neighborhood, demanding Karen's removal as HOA president. The vote was swift. Karen was out, replaced by Maria, who promised to dismantle the HOA's most draconian rules. Karen's fall was spectacular. She stopped showing up to meetings, her golf cart gathering dust in her driveway. Rumors swirled that she was planning to move, unable to handle the humiliation of losing her grip on Willow Creek. Jake didn't care. He was too busy teaching kids how to cast a line, watching the lake come alive with laughter instead of Karen's shrieks. But the story doesn't end with triumph. Jake's victory came at a cost. The loan payments ate into his savings, and he worked double shifts to keep up. Some neighbors, still loyal to Karen, whispered that he was reckless, that buying a lake was a stunt. Even Marcus warned him, "You've made an enemy, man." Karens don't forget. Jake shrugged it off. But late at night, when the lake was quiet, he wondered if he'd bitten off more than he could chew. Still, he'd do it again. The lake wasn't just land, it was a stand. A reminder that power, no matter how petty, could be challenged. That one person, armed with enough grit, could flip the script. Karen had tried to break him, but instead, she'd handed him a legacy. The sign still stood, weathered but proud, a testament to the day Jake took back what was never hers to control. In the end, the lake wasn't just his. It was everyone's except Karen's. And that was enough. The end.